Welcome to Buxton Mountain Rescue Team. We're here today to talk about the rescue sled, sometimes called a raft. It's one of our water rescue tools that we have. Would have been useful in the floods. We've been called out. Thankfully, we were only on standby and we didn't have to go and help evacuate or rescue anybody. So we're going to get it out of its bag, we're going to inflate it, and then we'll talk you through how we use it and what we use it for. Okay.
Introducing to me.
So I haven't introduced ourselves. I'm Karina and this is Andy, who happens to be my husband as well. We're both in Buxton Mountain Rescue Team, but we're also both members of the Water Rescue Team. And we'll talk a little bit about the different qualifications that we have in the team. We've got 3 levels of sort of training, awareness and rescue capability, but we can talk about that later. So now we've got to get it out the pack and inflate it. So this is our raft from Northern Diver. They've kitted us out with all our dry suits, our PFDs, so our buoyancy aids basically, helmets, all the kit that we need to be able to enter into water to help with the mountain rescue team's capabilities. To kit the team out with our water rescue kit, we got funding from a couple of different organisations, which was fantastic. Ideally, we might use it to support the team in searches, so it doesn't have to be floods that we work in. It might be that we're searching some of our waterways, so for instance rivers or the reservoirs such as Irwood and Fernley in the Goyt Valley. So yes, we can help just support normal team operations, but we've also got it here so that we can be used if necessary in local floods. So this is the raft, roll it out, we'll try and roll it that way. Cocky.
You can talk amongst yourselves while we do this. What you also got to bear in mind is that while we're doing this, the rest of the team will be getting themselves changed into dry suits, PFDs, other equipment ready. So simultaneous action is the order of the day. So talking about the dry suits that the team wear when they're operating in the water, that's available as a separate film that you might want to have a look at on another occasion. This might look like Karina's working a lot more efficiently than I am, but these are really tiny, these sponsors, so it's blow up in no time at all.
No, don't believe a word he says. You can see I'm just pumping much more efficiently.
Karina is much more efficient pumper.
Okay, so here's the raft pumped up. Comes with it a paddle, and it comes with what we call a split paddle, so we can pop it together. So Andy's just going to show us how we assemble the paddle. So this one, comes as like a kayak paddle. It's a bit tricky. Just showing us here how we put the paddle together. It just slits in, little poppers come in. So you can use one paddle on one side, or have 2 people paddling one side each. Or also, the paddle goes together and it can be used like a kayak paddle. The raft's quite wide, wider than your traditional kayak, probably at least twice as wide. So it's a little bit difficult to reach over to both the sides to paddle it, but it is possible. But with the 2 paddles like that, we could have 2 people, 1 on each side, paddling. But it also sticks together. As one. So it's quite a long paddle to reach over those sides. So we can use the raft as a boat, and we can have, like we say, 1 person or maybe 2 people paddling it. In the team, we've already talked about in different videos the different levels of water qualifications that we have. So the top level that we have is what we call an SRT, a Swift Water Rescue Technician, also known as a Mod 3 or Module 3, which is the DEFRA modules of different qualification. So if we're a Mod 3, we're allowed to float, and so we can go in the raft. Unfortunately for the Mod 2s, which is the level beneath us, they have to stay on their feet in the water, so we don't let them play, or not play, but we don't let them on the raft because it's floating. So Andy is a Mod 3, so he is allowed in the raft and he might paddle it. So we mentioned before the raft might be used for searching, so maybe around the edges of reservoirs. If the rest of the team that aren't water qualified, if they're searching from the bank, it's often very difficult to see under the undergrowth and see the water's edge. If we think somebody might have fallen in the water, they might be trapped in the undergrowth and so on. So the raft is a perfect tool to be able to go along the reservoir edge and look underneath the undergrowth and so on. So we might have one person paddling, they're going to concentrate on that, and then you might have a second module 3 in the raft as well. So Andy, I'm just going to climb in behind you, you're going to do the paddling. So I might be in the raft and I might be tasked with searching, so Andy can concentrate on the paddling and I'll concentrate in looking for the undergrowth for the people and so on that we're searching for. One reason we might use the raft, like I say, to support our general team activities for searching. We've also used rafts for rescuing and evacuating casualties. We have a bit of a hot spot near Millersdale in the river there, where the path is quite tricky, it climbs quite high and it's on slippery limestone and it's very narrow, and there's a sheer drop off into the river there, and the river's not very deep, not very fast flowing in normal conditions, and like I say, we've had 2 or 3 rescues there, and actually it's quite tricky for us as a mountain rescue team to get our casualties out of the river and back up the bank and onto the footpath, and the evacuation is then quite tricky over this slippery limestone that goes up and down and all over the place, whereas the river is quite flat and straight and, like I say, not very deep, so maybe at most about knee deep. So this is an ideal platform for getting a casualty from the river onto this platform, and then we can wade the platform down to somewhere where we can evacuate them easily. Generally they've been quite poorly and quite badly injured in these spots, and we've used helicopters. We've had the Coast Guard have helped us out with a winch, and we've also had air ambulances come, so we can evacuate them to somewhere where the helicopter can reach them, but using this platform, which is ideal, like I say, makes it a lot easier for us as a team. So the raft is ideal for getting casualties on because it's got this open back. So if we want to manoeuvre people on, we have even practiced getting a stretcher on, so the full length of that we can get a stretcher, and like we said, with people perhaps wading either side to transport our casualties. Another way that we can work this raft is we don't have an engine, so we said people can walk beside it, we can paddle it, but also we can attach our throw lines to it, and we can attach maybe just one line if we want to have a little bit of security, but we can also attach that maybe, we might have 4 points, and that means that we can work the raft across rivers and so on, and it's secured to the bank. So the people on the raft can be concerned with the casualty and getting them on board, whilst the people on the bank are actually manoeuvring the raft for us. And that makes it really, really secure. Because it's attached, or people are holding onto the ropes at the bank, they can then bring us back to the bank safely.
One other important thing about the tethered rescue, so if we have the raft attached to ropes, it means in a really, really nasty situation, we can send the raft without putting any of our people at risk. So if there's someone stuck on a boulder in the middle of a really nasty piece of river and we don't want to risk our people, we can still attempt to rescue by sending the raft out on the end of ropes on its own.
So it's a really capable piece of kit. Like we say, we can use it for searching, we can use it for rescues, we can use it for transport, we can use it in floods and evacuating. And with the climate changing as it is, we find that we're getting on call more and more. So just this week we were on standby at Bakewell Fire Station, and very, very close to having to use this to evacuate people whose houses were flooded. So yeah, great bit of kit. Really, really grateful to those people that gave us the funding for the water kit. If you'd like to see more of our videos, please hit like, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and there's videos, all sorts of things, whether it's our water kit, our operations, or even what to pack in your rucksack when you're going out for a walk.